Hello hooking lovers, and in today's video we are going to learn how to make this super cute spooky ghost. Probably not quite so spooky, but this is what we're going to do. Now, to make our super spooky cutie ghost, I am going to need some yarn. So I'm going to use Aran weight yarn that I've doubled up. I'm using my very well used, you can't even see it, 5mm Knit Pro hook, safety eyes. There are, you may find it useful to have, let me just take that out so you can see. You may find it useful to have some stitch markers and then something to sew it up with and some stuffing. So those are going to be our requirements. Now, you can use any weight hook, and then what you want is any weight yarn, sorry. So you can use any weight yarn, but what you want is a hook size that will make it a tight yarn. So when you're working to make something something like this, so any amigurumi, if they say it, project will use a smaller hook than you would normally use for your yarn in order to keep it tight. Now luckily we're working in white and the stuffing is in white, so if it's not hugely tight for this particular project, I would not worry about it. The only time I would worry about it if you're using a different coloured stuffing, because what you don't want it to really do is to have the stuffing coming out. However, as a first project, this makes a really good first project. So we are going to be using single crochets for the majority of this. The only other stitch that we'll use will be to make the little frilly hem. And if you choose not to do that, you can just do everything in single crochets. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to make a magic circle. If you don't know how to make a magic circle, there is a tutorial on that. But I'm making my magic circle, and into my magic circle I am going to work 6 single crochets. So okay, now I'll tighten that magic circle, and then you're going to right now, generally when you're going to be working this type of project, you're not going to join your rounds. I join my very first round. You can choose to go straight into your first one and start your increases, but this is how I do my join, to try and negate the spiral that starts on the beginning of these. So what I do is I slip stitch into the back loop, so you can see there's the front loop. Hopefully that you can see that. Let me just get there. So if I put my needle through there, so this section here is my first loop, and this is my back loop. So I'm going to go through my back loop, and I'm actually going to work a slip stitch. Okay, and I'm going to make my first single crochet into what effectively is the second loop. So the second single crochet I ever made for my original one. And I'm going to do 2 single crochets into each one around until I've got 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now this 10th one is actually my last stitch. So when I go into this part of the yarn here, this part of the yarn here is where my It's not looking really clear, is it? Let's see if that makes any difference, just moving out a little bit. So this is where that's my joining thread, if you will. So I'm still going into there. It will be a bit tighter, and I'm going to put my last 2 into there. So 1 and 2. What that then means is that I don't have a spiral, I have a circle. Now, we're going to carry on increasing until it's as wide as you'd want it to be. So for me, I shall see where I get to, but you are going to take the normal principles of increasing. So we increase by the same number of stitches every round that we started with. So we started with a 6, so we increase by 6 stitches every round. So I've done 6, I'm now on 12, I'm moving to 18, the next one will be 24. And to do that, hopefully you've got an understanding of this already, but more or less what we do is we put a single crochet between each of our increases, and as we work our rounds up we put an extra single crochet in. So for my 3rd round I am putting 1 in my first and then 2 in the next, and I will repeat that all the way around. So that gives me 3, increase, an increase, I'm on 9, so I'm halfway round, 10, an increase, so 11 and 12, 13, another increase, so 14 and 15, 16, and then the last increase on this round, 17 and 18. Now, so you're going to continue working in this way until it's as wide as you want it. So remember, you could have a tall, thin ghost. So you could have a tall one. You could have a little fat ghost and have it really wide. So you choose, you know, your preference. So I'm going to increase at least 1 more and we'll see how we get there. So again, I'm going to increase them on my 4th row. So I've just had on the 3rd row 1 single crochet followed by an increase. So now I have 2 single crochets followed by an increase, and it will move on like that. So the next row would be 3 single crochets with an increase, and that's how you'll continue to build it up. So I've gone from 18, I'm adding 6, I want 24. So 1, 2, increase 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and again another increase, 11, 12, so again I'm halfway through, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, oh, just let me check my counting there, yeah, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Okay. Now, because this is our first sort of stuffed toy project for the group, I think it is anyway, there are ways of making your stitches a lot tighter, but we are not going to cover that today. What I want is you to have the ability to make a project fairly easily on something that generally can feel like it's going to be quite a complicated process. So I don't want that to feel that way for you. I think for me, I'm going to do another round and I'm going to see where I'm up to. So I'm going to have 3 single crochets between each of my increases. 1, 2, 3, and then my increase 4, 5, 1, 5, sorry, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, another increase, 14, 15, and again I'm halfway through, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, next one's an increase, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 and 30. Now that's my final increase. So now you can see it's starting to make a, let's say it's a hexagon, correct me. And if you were continuing to make a circle, you may choose to work your increases haphazardly so that you don't get this sort of definitive shape. As we are going to continue down and to make a sort of a figure from it, it will, as we go down, look round from the top, if that makes sense. What we're going to do now is we are going to carry on and just make the same number of stitches. So you're making even stitches, you're not doing any increases, and you will do that for as long as you are happy to do it. Now I have 30 stitches, so I would work 30 stitches each row, and then I would make as many rows as I wanted. If you are, if you struggle to sort of keep count, and for some reason crocheting counting, whilst it's hugely important, it does seem to be something that we struggle with. I do it constantly. I've been crocheting for years now, and I don't think I'm the only one. So if you wish to, at this point, I would start to use your stitch marker, if you haven't already done so, a few increases. So what I will do is I will fast forward this video. I'll keep on working until I'm at a point where we're ready to sort of like finish off. Okay. So I have done 6 rows, and I'm going to leave my ghost at this sort of size. And what I wanted to do was to show you how to do the eyes. So I have this Knit Pro gauge, which shows you the size of your hooks or your needles. It's made for crochet hooks and for knitting needles. But one of the things it does really well is if you get a set of safety eyes, you may well find that all the sizes are mixed up. So by using this, I can actually check the size of my eyes. So I can see that that is too big for the 9, but that is a 10 mil eye, as is that one. Okay, so I'm going to, I just thought it was a handy thing for you if you have got safety eyes. So really what you want to do is think about, well, where do I want my eyes? And I think I'm going to have mine around about here. So I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, between the 6th and the 7th row. Oh, it looks cute already. Sorry, between the 6th and the 7th row. So what I do, pop the eye through, and then I press the backing. So the backing's got like a cup, so I press it so that the inner of the cup, if you will, it faces towards me, and then press it onto really firmly. I've gone for a small one, maybe it's too small. No, there we go. So you want to press it really firmly onto your safety eye. Now, there we go. So he's well on there now. And again, so I want to follow this same line. I want to think about where do I want his next eye to be, and decide whether I want it to be there or there. I want it to be a bit further. No, I actually think I prefer it a bit closer together. So let's pop it in and see what I think. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing now. Of course, if you do not have a safety eye, or two safety eyes, there are different ways that you could complete this. So you could use buttons, you could embroider the eye on, you could use French knots, or just sort of like embroider a circle. Oh, this one's a bit harder. I was going to say I quite like using these because I think one will look really cute and it gives me a nice even eye because it's the same size and shape, obviously. And it's a bit easier, but clearly putting this one on, there we go. This one on wasn't that bit easier. So now there we go. Now what I wouldn't do at this point is I wouldn't put the just pushing just a little bit further in. I wouldn't put the mouth on yet. If I chose to do one, I wouldn't necessarily choose to do one either. So we are going to do the little frill around the edge. If you don't wish to do a frill around the edge, you don't need to. But we're going to complete the frill. And then once we've done the frill, then we're going to start to close and stuff. Now, for the frill, I am going to place half double crochets into just the front loop. So I'm going to place 3 half double crochets in this instance into this first one straight after the last single crochet made, and then in the next loop, so the next one across again, front loop, I'm going to slip stitch, and then I'm going to do 3 half double crochets again in the front loop of the next stitch. Some more yarn. So again, 3 half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch into the next one. So always working in the front loops. Just going to use the back loops, and what we get then is this little frill. So I'm going to work that all the way around, and then we shall have a look at that together and start to look at closing it up and finishing off. Okay, so coming to our last set of half double crochets before we move on to stuffing and closing. So, okay. That is our last one. So now you can see, hopefully, how cute he is. Okay. Now, I'm going to start to do a little bit of stuffing. So, don't really need to sew these ends in particularly, which is one of the things I quite like. Because anybody that knows me knows I don't particularly like sewing my ends in. But I am going to tie it off 3 times. And yeah, then I'm going to start to put some stuffing in. Ooh, bit of fluff. It looked like a little bug, didn't it? But it's a little bit of fluff. So I do want it to be quite firm, because if my grandchildren come, particularly the 2 little ones, it will get squashed and squished a little bit. So I am sort of trying to shape him a little bit as I do it. And I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to carry on now and complete my decreases. So now we're going to decrease using the back loops. So we are going to slip stitch across to the back loop. And I'm going to slip stitch across to this back loop. Sorry, you see that there? Okay. And now we ended up with this one at 30 single crochets, and we were increasing by 6s, so we're going to decrease by 6s. So I'm going to go from 30 to 24. So that means that every 4th and 5th stitch will come together, and again only in the back loops. That's why we've done it this way. So I am going to no, actually I don't. Yes, I am going to chain 1. I'm not sure exactly how it'll look when if I didn't, so I'm going to chain 1, and it's underneath as well. So we're then going to single crochet. So 1, 2, 3. Now if you remember, I said that the decreases are going to be in the 4th and the 5th, so that's 3. Oh, sorry, yarn's getting caught and tied up. So the next one is going to be my decrease. Make sure that's in shot. So to decrease, this is how I do it. I place my yarn under, so I'm going under that back loop, and then instead of bringing and drawing a loop through, I'm going to go straight into the second loop. So it is a little bit more fiddly, but it gives us a neater single crochet decrease, which is the reason we do it. So I've gone through both. I'm going to pull through. Have I gone through both loops of that? Yes, I had. So it didn't look like I'd gone through both loops. So I'm going to pull through both of those. Hoping you can see that with it being white on white. And then I'm going to yarn over and finish my single crochet as normal. So I've now gone 1, 2, 3, 4, but my 4th one is the decrease over 4 and 5. So I'm going to do the same thing again. So 3 and then a decrease. I'm going to work that all the way around. So again, 1, 2. Oh, sorry, I'm all tied up. I was on 2. I'm going to take just a bit of this stuffing out and put it back in a minute. 3, just double checking. Yeah, and then I'm going to do a decrease. So again, through, and then through the next one. Pull the yarn through both. I'll say it's a bit more fiddly, and then yarn over and through the 2 loops. If you want to do your decrease in the standard way of doing decreases, feel free to do it. Just think this because I need to finish one. Sorry, 2, 3, and then so through 1, through the next one. Decrease, 1, nearly. This is my decrease. Okay, got some more yarn. My rings keep turning and catching. I'm just going to take my rings off. So that was 2, 3, and then a decrease. One, 2, 3. This is my last decrease. There we go. And I'm going to slip stitch to that first single crochet. Okay, so that is our first decrease round. So we've gone from 30 to 24, so now we're going to go from 24 to 18 and so forth. So again, 24 to 18 we're going to single crochet in 2, and then over the 3rd and the 4th, that's when we'll do our decrease again. So I shall show you how that looks. Again, I'm going to chain, going through both loops this time. So 1, 2, and then the decrease over 3 and 4. This will be tougher because it's 2 loops. Again, if you prefer not to do it this way, then feel free to just draw your yarn through. So again, 1, oh, what's that? Just do that one again. 1, 2, through 1, through 2, yarn through, feel like I'm fighting with it. Just going to do that again. I'm not sure if I actually caught the yarn right this time. So normally you pull that through and then go through and pull another one through, which obviously is easier, but I just don't think it gives as neat a look. Again, you're underneath, so whether you decide to do it or not is up to you. But let's try that again. There we go. I'd like to say I'm making it look easy, but I don't think.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Oh, Alexa's talking to us now. So we're going to continue on that theme. Painfully doing it by the look of it. I am at the minute with it. But however, I shall continue. So again, 1, 2 and a decrease all the way around, and I shall see you at the end. Okay, so we're just back at the end again now. So I'm going to slip stitch again into the first single crochet. Okay, so we've got 18 this time. You can see now that's starting to join together quite nicely and come together. So the next one's going to be 12. So I will single crochet in 1 and then decrease in the next 2, and then the one after that is all decreases. So just to show you the difference, I will do the decreases this time in the standard way so you can see how that looks. So again, I'm going to chain 1, so I'm going to do 1 single crochet, and then I'm going to do my decrease. So I'm going to do the decrease this way. So I'll talk you through that again. So again, standard single crochet, and then a decrease by putting the hook through the stitch, pulling a loop through, and then through the next stitch and pulling a loop through, and then yarning over and pulling through all 3. Okay, I'm going to do the next single crochet and the next decrease. So you can see it's much easier to do, but I believe that the stitch itself is just a bit bigger. So this is the stitch here, and then the corresponding stitch is, yeah, this one here. You can see this is a wider stitch than that one. Okay, again, it's underneath, so whether you choose to do an indivisible one or not, entirely up to you. And then in a moment I am going to restuff before we close up completely. Some more yarn. Okay, slip stitch to the end. Right, so you can see we're almost there now. I don't know what's going on downstairs. I can hear the doorbell and lots of noise. I don't know if you can hear it. So if you do, I apologise. And if you don't, then happy days. just put a little bit more in there. Wanting to be flat on the bottom. Oh, it's very cute. Right, so the last row of decreases, and then we will talk about finishing off and adding a mouth should you wish to. So again, I'm going to do, now we've got no single crochets, all of these are going to be decreases. I am just making sure my tension's fairly on point. So in the first one, bring a tail through, first one, bring a yarn through, yarn over, through all three. So next two, do the same. Next two, do the same. And again. I believe that's 5. Yeah, that's 2. And then, yeah, so slip stitch into the very top one again. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that off. So you can see it's pretty much close together. So in order to finish it off, I am just going to sew those ends in, she says. So I'm going to go through and sort of weave in and out of each of the stitches, but I'm going to go through the top loop. Just because it'll sit a little bit flatter if I do it that way. Okay, pull that in. You see it tightens straight up. Okay, so at this point I would weave ends in. So you weave them as you would weave them. I try and make it as invisible as possible. And again, it's on the bottom. I'm just going to pull my tail there, pull it tight, trim it off, and it'll just sink straight back into there. Okay, so there we have our little ghost. So you made it looks like his eyes are a bit lopsided. No, it looks like it. So you may decide to put a little mouth on, so I'm going to show you how to do that. That will work. So in order to do a mouth, it isn't overly difficult. It's just getting the placement where you'd like it. So I go from the back, I go through
Sorry, I don't know that one.
So that's Alexa now telling me. And I'm going to, I think, make his mouth. She says, I'll come out here, I think. That might be a bit too close to his eyes. Maybe I want to come across one. Oh no, I think I will go there actually. So, my needle's getting stuck because it's a latch hook needle. It's poor little face. So, again, from the back. So I'm going to go here. And as I pull this through, I'm going to keep hold of the yarn at the back. I don't want to pull all of that yarn through. I just want to be holding on to it. Okay. And then I'm going to decide where I think, so one across. I think I'm actually going to go there. So it's not, it's sort of like between two stitches. And then I'm going to bring it back up there. Okay. And then I'm going to go back into the same hole. And the idea is that I make an even shot at it. And I'm going to bring it back out at the back in the same place as that loop is. I want to pull that through. So, and there's his little mouth. Now, if you decide you don't like it and you want to do it in a different shape, then obviously you can work your way around it. I'm going to say I'm good with that. I think it's slightly longer that side, but I'm okay with that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a knot a couple of times into this end that's protruding. I don't want to do it too tight because I don't want to start pulling on the mouth at this end. I just want to tie the knot at this end. Okay. I'm going to cut it, and then the yarn is going to go back into the head, and then there we have our little spooky ghost. Very cute. What do we think? Let me know what you think. All right, so there we have our spooky cutie ghost. I would have really loved to see your selection, because I'm not sure you'll be able to stop at one, and see what sort of sizes you make them, because you can see you can make it huge, you can make it tall. Yeah, I think this is a really lovely project, particularly for somebody sort of first time making some sort of stuffed item. Okay, so happy hooking, everyone.